Oh, man.
There we are.
You're live.
Wow.
Quarantine happy hour.
Welcome to the Quarantine Happy Hour. I am Jen Olmstead with Olmstead Real Estate Group, and with me today is Phil Carr from Saratoga National Bank and Trust, Eddie Hitty from DG Law, and Joe Fasolino from Top Gun Inspections. So basically, what we want to do today is grab a drink and let's talk about real estate. A lot of people are wondering what's going on. A lot of unknowns right now. And basically what we want to do is we want to give you a little bit of information, keep you in the loop, and let you know that we are working as hard as we can to create some sort of normalcy here. So basically what happened this week? Hold on. Okay. What happened?
Are we going to do a waterfall? We just keep going.
We should do a social.
Right.
Oh. All right. Now it's a party.
I just beard around the world.
So this week, very, very interesting stuff. We were mandated as real estate agents to not show any homes. That means open houses were canceled. That means we could not meet face-to-face with any of our clients. And we couldn't show up to unlock doors or do anything along those lines. So it is something that has been placed into effect and could be punishable by a fine, misdemeanor, or possibly losing our real estate license. So as real estate agents, we're taking this very seriously. We want everybody to be safe and healthy, and we are doing the best that we can to continue with the real estate market, keep things moving. We have a lot of pending deals. We have a lot of people who are still going active. Today, I just checked a little while ago, we have 86 new listings on the market today. And also this week, 82 deals have gone to pending. So things are still moving. What we've been doing is we've been collaborating as real estate agents. So we did a lot of Zoom meetings. We talked about what our clients are looking for, how we can help, what listings we have coming on. And we've worked out a way to show those homes virtually. So a lot of the agents arranged ahead of time for virtual tours. We are doing a Zoom meeting where the seller, the seller's agent, the buyer, and myself are setting up a meeting, and the seller is walking us through the home. So literally you can shop for a house while sitting on your couch in your PJs, and you can ask your questions, do what you need to do, and still make a decision on the home. And we are writing into contract things to protect the buyer while we are waiting for this to write out. So while it is still sort of sight unseen, we're going to give you the opportunity to get in there at some point and be able to really assess whether or not it's a transaction you want to move forward with. So with that being said, this week I did a lot of virtual market analysis for people. So your home, you're thinking about doing a renovation and you're not sure if it's going to add value or how far into it you should go, you can FaceTime me. We can set up a Zoom call. And what I'll do is I'll do a market analysis for you. I will let you know what your home is worth now versus that improvement. People who are looking at refis, who maybe want to pull out some equity, this is a great opportunity before going into all of that to reach out to me and see how much your home is worth and if it's worth going that route. If you're thinking about selling, you should still consider selling because our buyers are very motivated and still moving forward. We were told at 8 o'clock on Sunday we could not show homes, and I was showing homes up until 8 o'clock on Sunday because my buyers wanted to see everything out there, and we had multiple offers on homes that usually don't have offers because people want to get locked in on those rates. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and say, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. That's my website right there. And you can get a hold of me. You can message me on Facebook. I'm always available now that we can't show homes, and I am constantly on the phone or in front of my computer. This is a great time. If you're an investor, perfect time to invest. Rentals are going to go up in the future. The rent rates still are very high. So if you're looking to get into the real estate market, still pursue it. It's going to be worth it. If you're buying, if you're looking to buy, this is a great time to talk to a loan officer and find out how much home you can afford. So I'm going to with that being said, I'm going to pass this on to Phil Carr, who's going to let us know what's going on in the mortgage industry.
Cool. Thanks, Jen. So first, I want to say the mortgage world has not shut down. We are still operating at full force. Obviously, with everything going on in the world, rates are going up and down. And something that my boss tells me all the time, rates go up, rates go down, rates stay the same. That's the only thing that we really can predict about interest rates, because I get calls all of the time about, I know your rate is X, but if I wait a day, what do you think the rate will be? And honestly, predicting interest rates is like a lot like predicting the weather. You just can't do it. So while rates are low, like Jen had mentioned, it's still a hot market. It's still a good time to buy, to sell. And really, it is for a lot of people, it's a good time to take advantage of the low rates to refinance. I've talked to a number of people in the last week who are scared to death over this whole coronavirus situation and employment being up in the air, and they want to borrow some of the equity in their house to have some pocket money or some a cushion, in case the worst case scenario happens. So there's all different kinds of reasons to refinance, but I've been working from home out of the office since the governor had slashed the number of people in the office, and I think I've been busier while I'm at home than I was in the office, just because there is this world of unknown when it comes to what is going on with the market. And I get phone calls all the time, and I send out worksheets with closing costs and rates and so on and so forth. But we also don't forget that people are still trying to buy houses. I think it kind of goes under the radar with everything else in the news, but buyers are still out there. And I know inventory may be up some weeks, some down some weeks, but people are still looking to buy homes. And at Saratoga National, we offer just about anything for buyers. So whatever your situation, we'd love to hear about it to see if it might fit one of our programs. In particular, where we get a lot of people who are realizing that paying $1,200 a month in rent doesn't really get them much, and they want to get rid of that rent, because it's almost like they get hit upside the head and say, $1,200 a month, I can afford a mortgage payment. So one of the programs that I push a lot, because I think it's a great program, is our first-time homebuyer program. And it's 3% down, lender-paid mortgage insurance. And, it's just a great program because we at Saratoga National, we hold a lot of our mortgages. So we're not going to close your loan and sell your servicing to a company across the country a month after you close. You're going to deal with Saratoga National right up until you either sell your home, refinance, or pay it off. Talking about Saratoga National, we are, just so everybody is aware, Glens Falls National and Saratoga National are basically one and the same. We're owned by the same parent company in Arrow Financial. So if you take a look at my email address here, you'll see Arrow Bank. Don't be alarmed. It's just our mother group that kind of hovers over Saratoga and Glens Falls National. But if you have a buyer, if you are a buyer and you have questions and want some numbers run for you quickly, shoot me an email. I'll set up a time where I can get it done for you, so you know going into the weekend, or nowadays during the week on a Wednesday, looking at a house, sitting online looking at a house. So if you need to know how much you can afford, shoot me an email, set up a call, and see if we can run numbers for you and get you pre-qualified. Thanks a lot.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Phil. I appreciate it. Make sure you guys hit him up if you have a question, especially that first-time homebuyers program. That's a really great opportunity for a lot of people looking to get into the market if you haven't purchased a home yet. Next, we're going to go on to Ed Hitty. We have a lot of questions about what's going on with closings. So people who have pending deals right now, you're going to want to listen to see what he has to say about it. All right, Eddie, you're on.
All right, guys. So obviously the world is a little crazy right now, and the closing process has changed to reflect that. The governor signed an executive order last that allows us to do notarization online. In some circumstances, we have actually been able to do closings in that way. There's a list of procedures that have to be followed, certain policies and certain mechanisms of identifying who's actually signing on the buyer side. But for the most part, we're conducting closings in the same way we always did in the office, but with taking extra precautions. After every closing, we sanitize the table, the chairs, the doors. We throw away the pens. Everybody's wearing masks. Everybody's wearing gloves. It's important to stay safe, but it's also important to still get business done in a way that protects everybody, including ourselves. So things are still happening. Just like Phil said, the world hasn't shut down. I'm still here. I work digitally anyway. Everything is electronic. So for me, working from home was as easy as closing my computer, coming home, and doing it here. So there's really not any disruption in service on my part. Attorney approvals have gone out this week. Title's been ordered. Title has come back. Of course, there is a caveat there. As most people know, county by county, the process differs. Albany County, Saratoga County, by way of example, are two counties that maintain records online. So it's very simple for us to go online, search title that way, and produce a report. Counties like Rensselaer, Montgomery do not maintain records online. So we can't go online and do a title search as easy as we would in Albany or Saratoga County. So for that reason, obviously there's a little bit of a delay in service in those counties. But I think as anyone with access to a television has seen, things are changing hour by hour, day by day. We don't know what's going to happen next week. We don't know what's going to happen the week after that. I can tell you that I've spent most of the past few days fielding calls from people saying, well, I heard this. Well, I heard the county clerk's going to reopen. Well, I heard that. It's all speculation. It's all a rumor. For right now, the county clerks, for the most part, are, especially in the counties where we can't search online, shut down. There's not much we can do. Especially in Rensselaer County, we're running into issues where I have one file I can think of in particular where I ordered title on the 18th of March. The clerk shut down on the 20th, and I have no way of telling anybody when I'm going to be able to produce a report. So that's not to say that the county clerk won't decide to reopen with a skeleton crew next week. We just don't know. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm still here. I'm doing what I can. I'm doing closings. I had 2 today. I had a bunch this week. What we can do, we certainly are going to do, and we're just going to make sure that we do it as safely as possible. And if we have any clients that request the use of an online notarization, that's something we can certainly make happen thanks to the governor's executive order. Other than that, it's important for everybody to really stay safe. We've seen a big decline in new orders coming in, mostly because realtors can't show houses. A lot of people, while there are a lot of people who are happy with buying a house on FaceTime, that's great. There's a lot of people that won't sign a contract unless they see a house. So for that reason, new orders have been declining, but rates are really low right now. Rates are lower than they've been in a while. So people that are refinancing, people that have deals in the works, and especially people that have deals in the works that are in counties that maintain records online, Schenectady, Albany, Saratoga, shouldn't be much of an interruption in service there. Things should still be going as planned. So we're still here.
I heard Schenectady County was closed. Did you hear that?
The county itself is, but they maintain records online, so we can still search on Schenectady County.
All right. 'Cause I'm from Schenectady.
We can also record, able to record in Schenectady and Saratoga County because we are able to record online. We're able to e-record in those counties. So it's kind of deal by deal, case by case. So actually what the title companies have done is institute what's called a gap affidavit that we're asking all of our sellers to sign. And basically what it says is, look, we can't rely that the county clerk is maintaining up-to-date accurate records. So what we need to do is have this form signed that basically says the sellers have no knowledge of any new judgments, liens, any reason that title might have become further encumbered between the time our report came out and the closing. And that's how we're getting around it for the time being.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Eddie. And also, I think it's important to know we are taking the safety of every person involved in the transaction very seriously. So they have asked agents to not go to closings. The seller, the buyer, the bank are no longer all in one room, and they're taking it in different steps just to keep everybody separate. Saw a picture on Facebook today where a notary was actually standing 6 feet from somebody signing on their car. So,
Yeah. It's been happening.
It's what you got to do. So we're taking it all very.
People hold their IDs up to windows, and people actually have been like taking pictures of them through the window.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
closings in multiple rooms. Everyone's safe.
I just wanted to say, if somebody has a question, they can make a comment on the live feed and we can answer it because we can see your comments. So if you have a question for one of us, just go ahead and type it into the comments and we'll get it answered for you. In the meantime, I'm going to introduce you to Joe Fasolino. He's going to let us know with the inspection world. There's a lot of things that they've mandated in New York State.
All right. So my name is Joe Fasolino. I'm with Top Gun Inspection Services. And also, I'm the lead instructor for CATS of Albany. So we have one of the largest home inspection schools in New York State. So one of the things I've been trying to do to help lead the community for myself, I took a pause in my business. When it first came out for the 15-day stand down, I said to myself and to my clients, because I treat everyone like their family, is that, you know what, for 2 weeks, let's just not perform anything. I don't want to bring anything home to my wife, daughter, or son. And we're just trying to reduce this curve so we can get back to work. So with that being said, there's a lot of confusion about home inspections and are they essential? So speaking with the Empire State Development, if you go to that website, they actually define who's essential and who's not. And it literally changes every day. So initially when it first came out, it stated that single owner and operator of a business is exempt. So a lot of home inspectors said, hey, we're exempt and we can still go, which for myself is kind of odd because like if a realtor can't show a house, how the hell can I actually go inside of a home? So that's when I said I'll take the 2-day or 2-week pause for 15 days. Since then, I've spoken to the New York State Association of Home Inspectors, and they received information stating that, hey, home inspectors are not essential. But there are still home inspectors that are still doing business because of this owner and operator statement from the Empire State Development. Today, it changes every day. You literally have to look every day because today, if you're a contractor, like a single contractor, if I'm working on bathrooms and kitchens, today you're not essential. Yesterday you were essential. Today you're not. You know who's essential? Bicycle shop repairs. I don't know why the hell bicycle shop repairs are essential. I don't even understand that, but they're essential. So what I've tried to do is, and I just literally spoke to another home inspector, and they gave me some information to talk to someone at the state, and they're pointing me to the Empire State Development. So it is my understanding at this point that home inspectors are not essential. Now here is the difference. Mold assessors are essential because that's a health issue. Radon testing is essential because that's a health issue. What I don't know what's happening is if people are doing mold assessments and then on the back end doing a home inspection, which I don't think that you should do that or not. Because quite honestly, we got to keep everyone, because right now they stated that the apex is not going to be reached until the 19th. Or the 21st of April, which I think is crazy. So I have a concern of how long we're going to be in here. So with that being said, from a home inspections, it is still believed that it's not essential, but there's still small confusion. But what can you do as a real estate agent and or a seller or a future buyer? All right. One of the lot of things that I offer is, and I've already done it, is performed FaceTime. I have asked buyers to actually go up inside their attic and put their camera inside the attic with a flashlight. So maybe I can actually see any mold. Let me see if I can share my screen here because sharing screen with 2 monitors, sharing screen. I won't even try it. Forget it. So we actually have clients look in the attic to see if there's any mold. I'll actually have them look at their heating systems, hot water tanks. I'll have them look at their electrical panels. And then any items that they have concerns with. These are people that are thinking about putting on the market because we offer pre-listing inspection. So that's one of the items that we tried to talk about now. There are people that have questions when they're buying a home and they go through the virtual tours that I have actually received some feedback, and they've taken some pictures and send it off to me and had me try to evaluate that at that time, meaning, hey, Joe, is there any issues with the foundation in this particular area, or what do you think about the electrical panel? So it's really tough because we can only do so much virtually and looking at images, but we are trying to support the buyers and sellers through the agents that we know, because right now everything is happening virtually, and what they need to have occur. The only tough thing now is that I've been seeing some virtual process where they're actually bidding on the house, and then they're going through with the lawyers and with the banks, and then we get to the home inspection. Like I said, some companies feel that they are essential and they're still doing it, and I think that's what's happening now. But I think the majority of them aren't doing it. I don't know if you guys have heard anything about home inspections, Jen or Eddie or Phil.
Some home inspectors are still performing home inspections, and it's because they're considering themselves a one-man band, or because they perform mold, which is considered essential. They're saying
I had a couple of times. I want to say last Saturday.
I've had some cancel, and I've had some still go on. So right now it's about 50-50.
Right.
What's important to note is we're still in a very gray area about a lot of this. So we're still trying to figure this out as an industry and really, keep the public safe. That's our number one priority. At the same time, deals still need to move forward. Housing, in my opinion, is essential. The people who I have looking for homes, it's because their apartment is sold, or, their home is sold, or they're relocating here and they have to be here. So, knowing that these people need a place to live, it does, in my opinion, make it more essential than that Snowman ice cream shop in Troy that people are talking about. So
somebody told me the other day that GameStop is essential, and they're still open.
I saw
maybe for parent sanity, I don't know.
Yeah,
I didn't get it.
Probably.
I'm not cut out for the stay-at-home stuff.
But
So
to
I did
piggyback on that, Jen,
that says Business Review article said single contractors can still work. So if you go on to Empire State Development, that's essential. They've just stated that single contractors are not essential. So that's the confusion.
Right.
I wanted to kind of share that.
I think what's important is if somebody makes that decision to do that. So right now, appraisers are still going out. I know some banks have made the decision to hold all appraisals. Most of them are still having them. It's so important. If you're a real estate agent, you're watching this, you should not be going and opening the door, unlocking the door. We should be doing everything we can to have minimal contact with the public. That is our goal and our responsibility. So while yes, we do, we do still need to work to make money. We're waiting for that relief to come in with that bill that should pass any minute. But anybody who doesn't realize that we're all independent contractors, if we don't work, we don't get paid. And right now, we do not qualify for unemployment. So we're being told we can't work. And right now, we don't have anything. I know it's in the works, and it will happen hopefully by tonight. So everybody who's an independent contractor, hang in there. We're looking at getting some relief. But
so Jen, I got just a quick comment on that.
Yeah.
With the rise in unemployment, most lenders are looking at loans a little deeper now than they would typically, because you're going on unemployment, and some small businesses, when they finally get to the point where they're up and running again, they've been out of business for what could be a month and a half. They might look at employment. So we're being very cautious when we're looking at loans now to make sure that there is some sort of stability once we're back up and running again.
So I have a question about that. Do you foresee there being some sort of forgiveness during this gap once we get back up and running, if somebody hasn't worked because of the coronavirus, do you foresee that they will be able to still get a loan if they're brought back?
Yeah, if you basically, and I had this conversation earlier today, so it's perfect timing. If you have somebody who's picking up where they left off, per se, once this is all said and done, and we're back to normal, sure.
Right.
But if you have a company who might not be able to, they might have to cut employment because they lost so much money during this, shutdown, that's something different. But it's very much a case by case, just like any other time during the year. But this obviously is really bringing to light a lot of unique situations with a lot of employment and situations that people, or issues that people are having.
Right. Eddie, I have a question for you. Do you see is there something in place where if somebody where they lost their job or they feel that there's some sort of insecurity with what's going on with the coronavirus, or they contracted coronavirus and has made it so that they can no longer proceed, is there something in place where they can get out of their contract?
So there's a couple different things that could be used. So obviously if the buyer loses their job, for one, we'd obviously be able to get them out with the mortgage commitment, the mortgage contingency. If they lose their job, we'd be able to get a denial letter from their lender. So we'd obviously be able to get them out under that. But there's also, I've seen a lot of brokerages circulating what's called a COVID-19 addendum, which says, listen, we know there's a lot of craziness going on in the world. There's a lot of people who are currently not working because of the virus, and what it's doing is essentially just pushing out the timelines in the contracts by 30 days, 60 days, whatever's necessary to allow that person to either return to work or resolve whatever issue is preventing them from getting the income that they're getting. But if it's an outright, we're not working at all, the mortgage commitment is something we can always use to get people out.
Okay, great. Very good stuff to know. So Joe, what is the plan with home inspections would you suggest during this time?
Say that again.
What's the plan with home inspections during this time? What's the right answer here?
So I don't know. I've gotten a lot of negative feedback because I've been trying to push it from the school point of view, because I'm trying to get a single an item out to all the graduating students. Me personally, I think we should just stand down. I think the risk is too high. This is a civil item. If we don't know if you have any illnesses, it takes multiple weeks. And if I go to a house and and if I'm there and I can have all the precautions, right? And if someone gets ill and they track it back to me, and now they're in the hospital, that's a civil suit against me. And any court, anybody is going to pull up these documents and say, okay, the business state development said this, and a company, the business review says that, and no one's going to really give a damn. At the end of the day, they're going to have a lawyer and someone's going to be in the hospital. Why take a chance, in my opinion? I mean, if it is absolutely critical that people are going to go out there and do home inspections, or do it on the back door, meaning they're doing a mold assessment and they can do a home inspection at the same time, I'm not going to judge anybody's company. You know what I mean? That's their own business, and they got to deal with it. Joe Fasolino, I'm going to try to help lower the curve and keep moving forward, keep my agent safe, keep my family safe. And the minute they say, hey, the kids are back in school, quite honestly, I think we're all going to be essential. And last I heard today was the 19th, April 19th. I think that's when they're going to try to get the kids back to school. Yeah. So let's wait. From me, that's Joe Fasolino's opinion, because then I'm going to be ready to go and we'll get this done. I don't want to get anybody sick. I just want this damn curve to get lower.
Right. Yeah. I think it's interesting. So we're also streaming on YouTube, and Wild Boys is actually my children, which is pretty cool because they're watching, and they did ask it, want to know if real estate during this time is harder or is there more relief? I'm going to say it's harder, and I don't know if they haven't been around this week or what, but with me homeschooling them and trying to work, while being in the house and not being able to get out, it is much more difficult. With that being said, I've had my real estate license since 2006. So what does that mean? That means that I was around for 2008 during that crash. And I had to figure out at that point, how was I going to survive in this business? At that time, Danny was a newborn. I actually just quit my full-time job, and I was a brand new agent, and I was also very young. And one of the things that I could suggest to anybody who's watching this, who's in real estate or as an independent contractor, run in the direction that people are not running. 2008, I got really good at short sales, and a lot of people did not want anything to do with short sales, so they were hiring people to do it. I figured out who I need to call, who to contact, who to work with at the bank, and basically it fed my business. It took a little bit of time, but it was something that made it so that I could get through 2008. 2008 was one of my best years starting out. 2009, I grew my business. And this is the same thing. It's just an adjustment and figuring out what's different and how to put yourself out there. It takes work. It's not up until Sunday. It was easy. I mean, people contact you online, they call your signs, and they do all that. Now we have to get creative. How are we going to get a buyer and a seller connected without being actually able to show them a home? I like the challenge. Some people may not like it. You may see a decrease in agents. Right now we have 4,000 agents in our MLS. 2008, 2009, we had about half of that. So I do expect that we're going to have a boom when we're told that we can go back and we can show homes again. I think it's going to be extremely busy. I'm expecting multiple offers. I'm expecting people to be outbid. It's going to be a really tough time. So if you're looking,
you're totally right about that. Especially if rates stay low like they are, it's going to be crazy busy.
Yeah, absolutely. So it might be worth it if you're not someone who wants to be in a multiple offer situation. It might be worth it to look at this unique or alternate situation right now and see what you can do to get in before this wave of people. Keep in mind, guys, we are just hitting our spring market, and it's been crazy busy since December. So what is our usual wave is actually going to be even bigger, and we're going to have a huge influx of people coming into our market who typically come in around springtime, in addition to the people that are already out there because these rates are so fantastic. So, it's definitely something. I think the real estate market is something that everybody should watch, because I do feel like that's kind of the pulse of our industry. Some people will say it's stocks, but I think if people are still buying homes, it says a lot for our economy, at least locally. So if there's any other questions or comments, let me see what we got here.
Get pre-approved too. There's nothing more important than talking to a lender, getting pre-approved so you know how much you can afford. Because if you do get into that bidding war where you have to bid above asking price, it would be nice to know that you can afford that instead of having to go back to your lender.
Absolutely.
Oftentimes sending out letters for the asking price plus, whatever they may want to offer on the house, so they've got one in their back pocket should they need it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got love to get everyone's input and cycle the transaction right now.
One thing I like about this whole thing is I enjoy pain, right? All different types of pain. And if you look at Carvana, like people are buying brand new cars on the internet, right? And now they're changing where you can actually sell used cars and buy used cars. It's only a matter of time that the brain is going to shift. And our kid generation, I have a 15-year-old and a 17-year-old that are going to be having their birthdays in a couple months, but they're mentally been growing up on computers. And for them to buy on houses online is not going to be a big thing, right? That's a complete paradigm shift. They do everything online, all right? So what we're experiencing today, I think agents like yourself and then getting into the law and in the banks, this is all going to be in the future. People are going to do this more and more. And to be able to embrace that pain, to be able to build your business around that and not leave this. Once the 19th comes, don't drop the ball and say, okay, I'm not doing that anymore. I think you should continue because I think that's going to be down the line 5-10 years from now. It's only a matter of time. Of course, I think someone's going to want to physically look at a home. Home inspectors are always going to be at the house because we have to inspect it. But I think there's going to be a paradigm shift. So I think a lot of yourselves embrace it and keep moving forward and continuing with it. I think you're only going to be that better off when change comes.
Right. One of the interesting things about this too is that the governor's executive order that allows us to now notarize documents electronically. It's called. It's huge because nationally it's known as RON, Remote Online Notarization, and there are some states that currently allow it. New York State is not one of them. And as recently as a few weeks ago at the MBA Mortgage Bankers Association lobbying day in Albany, Jackie Gralzik, one of my firm's partners, was there. And the response from New York State legislators regarding remote online notarization was pretty flat. No, it's not something we're going to have in our state anytime soon. Now, here we are less than a month later, and it's something that we're forced to implement. That remote online notarization is what's going to take the physical closing process to the next level. When we're able to sit there and hold IDs up to the screen and notarize documents digitally, that's really what's going to be the next step in the process. So it's kind of interesting that New York State, being that we're one of the financial capitals of the country, really, and of the world, really, because I mean we have New York City in our state. So when financial legislation happens, it's going to happen here first. So the fact that we're doing that, and there are people here in the state that are actually putting that into practice, hopefully that has a big impact on whether remote online notarization is legalized in our state soon. Because now we're able to say, hey, look, we did it. Nobody died. The world didn't stop.
Yep.
Planes didn't crash from the sky. We did it and it happened. So we'll see what happens now. Could be a good thing.
Absolutely. Well,
And it's really no different on the mortgage end either. I mean, we're just catapulting ourselves into the future of technology, maybe a little sooner than we anticipated. But when we come out of this, I think there's going to be a lot of changes, and a lot of changes for the good. Like Joe talked about, we're going to be able to do it virtually, do everything, online and, over the phone. But as far as the mortgages are concerned, I mean, we kind of turned this corner years ago with electronic signing, closings. I like to meet a lot of people face to face, but it doesn't have to be that way. Everything's done through text messages, emails, phone calls. So me coming home to work really hasn't changed any of that. I just put less miles on my car because I'm not driving all over the place picking up documents. But it really, I mean, we're still full speed ahead, busy as ever, and things are really still going well. Obviously, there are some hiccups and it might take a little longer than normal just because there are extra hoops to go through. But, it really hasn't slowed us down.
one of the things I think about is when we were teenagers and we wanted to sneak out or go to that party or do whatever, we figured it out. So why is it different with our business? Real estate has to continue, and it will continue. And all of us together, we're all working really hard. So if there's one takeaway, we were going to figure this out, because when there's a will, there is a way. And we are all here for you. And we're all here for each other. So the awesome thing is that, Eddie might be consulting with other attorneys. I'm working constantly with other agents. We're doing conference calls twice a day on Mondays and Thursdays, and all working together and collaborating and seeing what we can do for ideas. The home inspectors, the banks, everybody's working together, and we're working for the public while trying to stop the spread. So I guess on that note, I'm just going to say, I hope everybody out there is safe and healthy. And unless there's anything else you guys want to add, I think that we had a good cheers.
Yeah. The only thing I want to say, Schenectady County is not online. I think I said earlier that they are. They're not. We can't do. So
Thank
sorry.
you for that last minute addition.
I'm bringing a drink
around the world.
Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned. I'm probably going to do another one on Tuesday. So 5 o'clock, the quarantine happy hour. Come see me then and see who I have on next. Thanks so much.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Take care.